is all set to throw a grand G20 victory bash at its headquarters this evening. The BJP office will see a flurry of activity, and workers have planned a grand welcome for Prime Minister Modi. Other than meeting BJP workers, Prime Minister Modi will host 450 Delhi police personnel over dinner who were deployed for the G20 duty. BJP cadre will celebrate G20 success in a big way to highlight the wins that India scored in the two-day summit and the fact that it managed to achieve a global consensus on the New Delhi Declaration. This is something which is being seen as a major diplomatic victory. Not just this, Tiranga will also be hoisted at the new Parliament building on Prime Minister Modi's birthday on September 17. BJP workers say that the summit could only be successful because of Prime Minister Modi's decisive leadership, highlighting how he ensured inclusion of the African Union as a permanent member, which was long ignored by the world. So a big grand celebration which has been planned at the BJP headquarters this evening. Party workers have been asked to gather at the party headquarters by about 4 p.m. this evening. We're expecting the Prime Minister to reach headquarters by about 5:30 in the evening. The Central Election Committee meeting later this evening to again finalize candidates for the MP and Chhattisgarh polls. And here's an excerpt of an exclusive conversation with External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and G20 Sherpa Amitabh Kant that Rahul Kanwal had, where both of them in fact spoke in great detail about how Prime Minister Modi played a huge role in ensuring a successful G20. Listen in.
What was happening in the real world, if you would, was also that at various levels, the Sherpa and the Sherpa's team were talking. I was talking to my counterparts. At certain points of play where required, Prime Minister himself came in. So we also knew that, in many ways, a lot of countries were invested in the G20. They were invested in the presidency of the G20, in the current presidency of the G20. And that gave me a lot of confidence that, look, at the end of the day, there would be a desire on everybody's part. There were still issues which needed to be resolved, and in some cases I had to ask him, saying, it'd be good if you could speak to your counterpart. And
he did that?
Yes, he did that. I mean, I can put it both ways. I think the declaration also happened because his stature had gone up. Yeah. When he sort of brought up the issue with some of his counterparts, the fact that this was Prime Minister Modi himself bringing up the issue, I think definitely had an impact on his counterpart. So to the extent that we actually got the G20 to focus on the global south, to look at today's world and its problems in a particular way, I would say that in itself was one achievement. And there are other issues. I mean, there are fundamental issues about the inequity of the current global order. So here is India. You have an east-west issue, you have a north-south issue. So it was also in some ways a test of our ability to forge a consensus, to find a common landing point. And then it was for ourselves, you could say, a self-imposed or a self-set way of testing ourselves, that today, in the past we've always done any gathering in a very kind of sarkari, bureaucratic way. Can we do it differently? Can we take it out to the rest of the country? Can we link it to what is happening in societies? Can we make people feel that, yes, this is an event or a responsibility in which I too have some connection? And I think in terms, therefore, of the agenda, in terms of the bridge building, in terms of the manner in which it was done, I think each one of them was a significant step forward to us. So certainly to me, Indian foreign policy or Indian diplomacy post G20 looks, I mean, I would say there are good reasons to be satisfied with it.
So that was, of course, Dr. S. Jaishankar putting into perspective how the Prime Minister's personal interest and intervention also, in a way, helped put together that very crucial document, which was the New Delhi leaders' declaration. A lot of skeptics thought that this is not going to be possible given the differences among the G20 leaders, but that was made possible on the first day of the summit itself. Aishwarya Paliwal, my colleague, is now joining me live from the BJP headquarters. Aishwarya, a grand celebration being planned for Prime Minister Modi as he arrives at the BJP headquarters today. What are the plans that BJP cadres have?
Well, one thing that the BJP will make sure is that, they tell the world and they tell all the Karyakartas, and also through the Karyakartas, the common man, what the G20 signifies, not just for India, but also for the world. So that's something that will be the focal point today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the top ministers of the Bharatiya Janata Party will be present. They will welcome PM Modi, and then Prime Minister will go in for the CEC. So all those things have been planned, because now the focus of the government is they know for a fact that the G20 was a big success. Now the idea is to make sure that the common man and the Karyakartas also understand what will happen next in terms of India and also in terms of the world with regards to the G20 and what India has achieved. That will be the focal point of the celebrations today. Follow me.
Okay. And what time are we expecting the Prime Minister, Aishwarya, to arrive at the BJP headquarters?
Anywhere between 6 to 7 is what we understand here. At the BJP is the time when the Prime Minister will be arriving. We also understand that some of the Karyakartas will be there at the front lawn. Paulmi, you have been here a couple of times, so you understand, the kind of frenzy that takes place as the evening, more and more people will start pouring in. We understand that there will be also a stage, and then Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be welcomed by the top leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party. The theme of the celebration is the success of the G20 Summit.
Okay, Aishwarya, they're tracking that big development which is expected to take place this evening when Prime Minister Modi arrives at the BJP headquarters to a grand welcome from BJP party Karyakartas.